Hey, what is up guys? Let's talk about how debt affects your ability to qualify for a loan and how a single dollar of debt actually requires you to have $27 of annual income. But before I get into that discussion, let's talk about front end and back end ratios. The front end ratio is the subject property that you're looking at. It will include principal, interest, taxes, insurance, HOA fees. If you're in Texas, you may be dealing with a MUD or a PID. Those costs associated with it will be in the front end ratio. And let's take, for example, you're looking at a $2,000 monthly payment and you have an annual income of $100,000. If you take that $2,000 monthly payment times 12, that's $24,000. $24,000 out of $100,000 of gross income, you're looking at 24% front end ratio. Typically, the front end ratio is ranging between 28 to 30%. The reason why it's important to know this is because that's what lenders are looking for when it comes to qualifying you on the front end ratio. If your monthly payment were to be $3,000 a month, you have that same annual income of $100,000. You take that $3,000 times 12, $36,000, divide by the $100,000. Ooh, you got a 36% front end ratio, and that kind of blows you out of the water. However, this is also going to depend on the type of loan. If you have an FHA, it may be higher. So before we discuss the back end ratio, remember this, the front end ratio is around 30%. That's the subject property that you're interested in purchasing when it comes to the monthly payment. So now let's get to the back end ratio. The back end ratio is going to be all your additional debts. And it's going to be pretty much anything that's going to come on the credit report. That's what the lender is going to be looking at. So whether you have auto loans, personal loans, student debt, credit cards, and everything else that may be on there. So let's take, for example, if we're looking at the back end ratio, you have an auto loan of $1,000, you have a student payments of $1,000 a month, and you have a personal loan and you're paying $500 out that you have to consider. So you take in the front end ratio, the front end payment, which let's say your subject property was $2,000, and you add your back end debts, which is $2,500. You combine those, that is $4,500. You take that and times it by 12, you're looking at $54,000 of debt that you're servicing. And you have that same annual income of $100,000, you're looking at a debt to income ratio of 54%. Typically, when it comes to debt to income ratio, you're looking at a 43%. However, this may vary depending on the type of loan you're looking at, but let's just say we're going with a standard of 43%. This totally disqualifies you, obviously, given that it's 53%. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Now, I want to get into this spreadsheet here real quick. Now, we have a $400,000 house roughly. In Austin, you're looking at a typical price of around $353,000, but let's say the house is $400,000. Your monthly payments are around $2,400 a month, and you take the percentage of 43%, you divide $2,400 by 43%, and you get $5,581 of income for that month. You times that by 12, that is $66,000 of annualized income that you need to make to support a $2,400 monthly payment. And if you take in your student debt, which say you have a $266 payment, that's $7,000. So if we actually type in a dollar, you would see your annualized income to support that single dollar of debt would be $27.91 of annualized income that you would need to support it. So if we go ahead and make a copy of this, we can actually look at the example and see how much income we would need to make to support that payment. We're going to change this out. We're going to say we said the housing payment was around $2,000. We had an auto loan, and that auto loan was $1,000 a month, and then you had your student debt, and we said in that example earlier it was $1,000, and then you had a personal loan of $500 a month. And if we look back at the previous example, we saw that $4,500 of total debt payments per month blew us out of the water with that annual income of $100,000. But if we look at the spreadsheet, we will have a better idea how much income we would need potentially to be able to afford the housing payment and all the debt included. And the total annual income would be around $125,000 or monthly of $10,000. So to recap real quick, the most important things to know: front end ratio, you're looking at 30%. That front end ratio is the subject property that you're looking at. The back end ratio are your additional debts. The front end and back end put together equals your debt to income ratio, and the typically standard DTI is 43%. This is important to know when you're thinking about purchasing your first home or you're an investor. So thanks for checking out the video. I appreciate it. If there's anything I can do for you in regards to this spreadsheet, whether you want it or not, I will be glad to send it to you. It's fun, so think about it this way. For every dollar of debt you have, that's about $27 of annual income you'll need to make if you're looking to qualify for a home. I think it's a neat little thing. And obviously there's going to be different requirements that the lenders are going to look at, but this is a good start to look